sopra i tetti, sussurri dolci tra le ombre vive. Giorgio mio, dove sei adesso? Qual è lo scenario tra il cielo e il mare chiaro? Un cuore che ti cerca invano, Giorgio, amore
Hello,
All right, we're
ladies.
live.
Yeah, we're live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome. The most special episode of Milanistas 360 that you could ever be a part of if you're joining us on the live. This is it. This is the century. And we have our first in line for the century. Thank you, Fahadino. But yeah, it's a special one. And we welcome everyone else to join us. But don't worry, if you're catching us later, be it on YouTube or on whenever I'm back to upload it to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But it's going to be a banger. There's nothing, no one's going to deny it. So with me, the three kings. Well, not, two kings. I'm not going to include myself here because I'm up in the mountains somewhere.
Freudian slip.
But yeah, it's great. We owed you this episode for quite a while, but we wanted to make it special. So, not wasting any more time, who do we have? Mr. Shane, Mr. Lab Gorilla. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the century. The 100th episode of Milanistas 360. So, let's kick things off. Shane, how do you feel about this 100th episode?
Oh, good, man. It's great. I don't think I've ever done anything 100 times before in my life. Really, I usually get bored after 3 or 4.
I beg to differ.
No. Besides that,
oh mate,
no,
he also ate 100 pieces of carpaccio. I saw him do it.
It feels really good. But and we're going to go into this a bit later and just give thanks to everyone. But a genuine thanks to absolutely everyone who's taken part. And we'll go a bit deeper into exactly who that is a bit later on. But a big thank you to everyone. A big thank you, shout out especially to those in the comments right now, because you've been here for the long haul. Vadinho, Kim. There's also Kathy V down in Australia as well. Who else do we have in the group? And we obviously have Max. And we also have, who else do we have? Am I missing out anyone?
Oh, we got a ton of people, man. It's hard to keep an eye.
Because we also have I did mention Nico, right? And like a super shout out to Nico as well, right?
Yes.
Over in Mexico there.
Chris Pasmino as well.
Chris Pasmino. Jesus Christ, I didn't realize how many. Nathan.
Yeah, Angelo Lauria, Carlo Moretti, Carmelo. How can we forget Carmelo?
Super Carmelo. Jose Goe.
Jose Kashavit as well. Rafiq, Raymond, Zaid.
A big thank you to everyone. We did. Yeah, we'll say him twice because he's a legend and he deserves naming twice.
He does. Yeah.
And even Uncle Sharma.
And Uncle Sharma from the Inter side. God bless Sharma. Yeah. The receiver of all my trolling super chat comments every time we beat Inter. It's great.
I mean, yeah, it is quite funny to go to Inter chat when they're losing anything. It is quite funny to watch them melt. It's hilarious.
I do. Literally, John, it's part of my therapy. What I do to get us through this banter era, if we do actually beat Inter, I go to Uncle Sharma's channel, right? I pay like the €2.50.
No, you don't.
And then what I do is I just take the piss out of Murata's wonky eyeball. And then Sharma has to call it out because it's a super chat, and that's great. It's got
That's
me
quite.
too.
I go in there, I drop grenades, and I just leave it quiet, and then he reads them out anyway, even though I
This is
don't pay.
true. We
Yeah,
love you,
very funny.
Sharma. You're one of the good,
Yeah,
sensible
he's a
ones
good
in
guy.
this
He's one of the
place.
good guys,
Yes,
man.
I
Honestly.
like Sharma.
Yeah. All right. So, I guess one thing I want to say before we begin, we're not deaf to world events. I rest in peace to all of those that have been affected today. Honestly, our hearts and prayers go with you, and hope the world becomes a better place as we move forward. Because this is not the way. This is not the way. Yeah. So all those of you in Australia and in the US, the events of the last 24 hours have been absolutely shocking. So, all right. So who's here? I'm here to troll John. You. Oh, thank you very much, Max. Thank you for joining. Lovely, lovely job. Oh, this guy just doesn't stop. To be fair, I do the same at his when he does his
Just
pods.
be the bigger man, John, and walk away.
Well, I can't be a bigger man than Max, can I? You've just given me that, haven't you? That assist.
Sorry.
And the Max.
Okay.
We've got a ton of content today, right? So, shall we get started? Who's got control?
I got control. I'm gonna open it up now.
Sort out a way that we can show the presentation. How do we show it? Oh, there you go.
Here we go.
We've got it. We've got it. Okay. Let's see if we can do this.
Is
So,
it too late to thank Furlani for secretly watching it? I know he's probably watching our pods.
No,
I
because
mean,
John, this is like super important. So again, we're just three nobodies who made huge life mistakes in deciding to support this shit football club nowadays. But you really have to give credit to the true visionary that is Giorgio
Yes.
Furlani.
I mean, what could we have done without him? I think this is why we had to give him not only this, but we had to give him the title of let's move to the next slide. The most iconic AC Milan management that has ever been put together. Without Furlani, we wouldn't have been in profit for the last 3. Max, stop right now, man. I'm not having this. I am taller than Furlani. But yeah, he is the most iconic AC Milan manager there's ever been, the most iconic CEO we've ever had. At least 3 years in profit. Doesn't matter what you do to this club, finish 8th, 9th, it will always be in profit because he knows how to do it. That is what Harvard education gets you. I think we have to be grateful for the size of the squad that we have today, the success of the youth team, and the amazing individuals that we have, and all the Milanismo that exudes through our club today. It's all thanks to Furlani. So, we put this together for him. Shane, you created a wonderful tune for him as well. And we thought we couldn't celebrate the 100th episode without celebrating Giorgio Furlani, our greatest CEO in our history. If you guys want to add any more to that, more than happy to hear it.
Yeah, I think if I could just say something, a few words of Furlani, he's probably done the impossible. I mean, you take a club like ours and really, how would I put it? Bring us back to reality, yeah? And really put the balance, the balance sheets, turn that into the real sport of the game, yeah. So big credit to Furlani. I would never have imagined this would have been possible without him.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same fella as well. That's when we got rid of Giroud, he bought in Morata. Then a couple of months later, he got rid of Morata. Then he bought in Jimenez.
Oi!
And then because Jimenez wasn't good enough, he then went and got in Nkunku, who is many things, but not a striker.
No.
He's going to be the guy responsible he's already responsible for, getting rid of Teo. I'm
Yes.
sorry, Bartezaghi is not Teo, despite the 2 goals today. And he's also responsible as well for, us letting Mike go, which we're going to cover a bit later. But still, but just remember, guys, this is the most important thing, right? Even if we win the Serie A this year, it is not because of the players. It is not because of Allegri. It's because of this man, Furlani, whose stature at 5'0", he's still a
I'm taller
giant
than that.
among this club.
That's
He's a
right.
joint.
We're all Furlanisti. Yes, Kim, you've got it. We're all Furlanisti. Forza Furlani.
That's
Right.
it.
Let's move. Let's move from Furlani to the actual club. All right. So, 100th episode. This is a big celebration today. I think these two guys, Shane and Hasni, who seems to be called Azamat Bagatov for whatever reason, they set up this group. They set up their WhatsApp group. They had this idea that they wanted to set up a place for people that I think had a slightly different opinion on the club to come together and have a realistic conversations. That's why I joined them. I was looking at you guys. I was looking at when I joined you guys, and it was just after episode 20. So
Was it?
quite
Is
early
that, is
on.
that why the quality improved immediately after episode 20?
That's
And
why
then
we have so
before
many
then it was just
subscribers
shit.
now.
That's why. Okay.
I remember watching you guys when you had like Shane. I think you had monkeys stealing your food
I did.
because you were sitting outside in the wild. Were you in Kenya or something like that?
I was.
Yeah,
I
that was.
missed that monkey.
We all. I mean, I always miss monkeys. I like to eat them. So
Oh, no.
right. So let's move on to the club in a chronological order. All right.
Mhm.
So we're going back to matches in Serie A that we haven't spoken about, but they'll be quite quick, guys. So don't worry about it. But we have to discuss this. So we played the Derby della Madonnina, and we beat Inter. Now, from what I remember on that game, and you guys correct me, Inter were dominant, right? We caught them on a counter and we scored on them. And if I remember, it was Hakan having a really terrible control of the ball. Fofana took it off him, ran forward, passed it over to Salad Maker, who took a shot that I think was not probably even going to go in. But what's their goalkeeper's name? Inter Milan's
Sommer?
goalkeeper.
Sommer.
Sommer parried it back into the path of none other than Captain America himself, who slammed the ball home. So that was our 1-0 win. And that evening, I literally trolled Inter Milan fans for the life of me. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun because I could see that they were melting. They were literally melting like an ice cream. But if you look at the stats, no question, most of the shots on target, big chances missed. They had a penalty as well. How can I forget that they missed a penalty? Who? Hakan Çalhanoğlu. I mean, is there any better thing in the world than watching Hakan Çalhanoğlu miss a penalty against Milan? And this is where, again, our point about Maignan and the value and the points that he brings to our club. That was 3 points gained thanks to Mike Maignan, primarily. Any comments on that game before I move forward?
Yeah, I have a few things I want to say. Firstly, we last had a streak of that game, and Shane got the score right. He actually put it a 1-0 scoreline. So yeah, hats off to Shane. You got it right. And yeah, I was also in on the action, but not so much contributing, but just viewing the comments from Uncle Shama's channel, and if you want a fair-minded interesti. So yeah, it's cool to follow his channel as well. And yeah, some of his subscribers have said it quite right. That game was Inter Milan versus AC Milan. You're not going to get many games like that. And
100%.
if it's going to be if we do win the league and it's probably going to be, as many people do predict, that the winner of Serie A this season is going to win it by slim margin because it's so tight at the top right now.
Yeah.
So this might be the difference. Yeah, it might be just 2 or 3 points that crowns the new champion for this for the season.
Yeah. Shane, any comments on the game?
No, it's great because we live in a day and age where I think when people go through a mass psychosis and they all once one fucking idiot sheep starts panicking, right? The rest do, and they don't know why they're panicking, but they're seeing the one sheep panic, and then they start panicking. It's very kind of similar to what I've seen in some parts of the Inter fan base. I think they somehow don't believe that they somehow believe that they're no longer the best squad in Italy for some reason, and it's like it's evident on paper Inter are the strongest squad in Italy. They don't have the best manager, right? The best coach, but they're hands down. Like there's not a squad that can touch them. That's including Napoli and everyone else, let alone us. Where we're barely in the top 4, like when it comes to squads, right? So it's amazing to see when that kind of whole bubble bursts, and then one idiot sheep becomes 10, and then they're just running out the place and running straight off cliffs and into the ocean and drowning. This is kind of what happens. It was interesting though. The reason I called it 1-0 is because I'm such a fan of Allegri's solidity that he offers in terms of the way that he coaches the players and he regiments players, and the art of the defense is now and truly, back, right? Saying that, which we're going to go into a bit later on, he can't really work miracles with what is an average backline at best, and a midfield with no depth, and not having any strikers. The guy is pulling off miracles. Like, to say that we're still in quote unquote contention, right? And it is December, and he hasn't had a striker for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
you called this last year. You said you wanted Allegri, and I was like, oh hell no, I don't want dinosaur ball. You remember we had this conversation so many times, and you were pushing for Allegri, saying he's the one that's going to rectify this mess because we're dropping so many points because of complete stupidity and naivety. You were not wrong, but
then John, we got him Pavlovic,
yeah,
and he fixed everything. So
Furlani restores the balance.
That's it.
We're back to that man again, the main man again. Come on.
That's
it always
it.
goes back to the main man. All right. Right, let's move on to the next Serie A game. So then we played Lazio in Serie A, and it was a 1-0 win. I think I've got a picture of Leao there because he scored the winner. I can't remember it at all. It was like a bit of a blur to me. Do you guys remember any more about the game than this?
Yeah, wasn't that the game that Fofana had this amazing Messi-esque run, but not have the Messi finish?
And then he took a shot and he hit a satellite or something, wasn't it? It was
No,
didn't he? He just scuffed it.
He hit it with the wrong foot even.
Yeah.
Did he really? Oh my god!
He's literally in the box and he scuffed it, and it just bounced out like harmlessly wide. It was such a fucking shame.
Thank you for reminding me of that. That was funny.
What do you expect from Fofana? But still, yeah, it was fucking horrific to watch.
Right. So the stats on that game showed that Lazio had a slightly better possession. There's one thing about Allegri ball, right? You're never going to expect a team that's capable of holding the ball for us to have more possession than them, because our team is just... Allegri ball does not rely on possession at all. He actually gives away possession and just hits you on the counter. So we had way more shots than them. I think, as he said, hasn't he? One of them, I don't know if one of these 16 is Fofana's.
No, it wasn't even on target. It was not a shot.
It wasn't on target. It's just shots, you see.
He dribbled all the way to the box. Then it slipped his mind, like, hey, who am I playing for? And he passed it to the defender.
I think he panicked, dude. I think it was literally a situation where he was like, oh, fuck me, I'm actually in the opponent's box. What do I do? And then he panicked.
Yeah. I mean, so if you look at this, like, they missed 3 big chances. They had most corners. We had most shots, but they were clearly nowhere near on target. The shots on target is the same between the two. So this should have been a bit of a warning that Lazio, despite the fact that they're having a horrific season. Oh, and that's the other person we need to thank is Steve. Strasbourg Steve. We have to thank him too. One of our chat group mates, and he's always saying it as it is. He doesn't turn around and say, "Oh, Lazio are the best team in the world." He's not blinded. He said, "No, you guys will beat Lazio in Serie A," and so we did. So we came to them playing in the Coppa d'Italia, and people kind of took it for granted that Milan could rest players. And this, we go back to Furlani again, the wonderful man. Do we need a big squad? Of course you don't. You need maybe 16 players to get yourselves through a Serie A season. You don't need to rely on people on the bench at all. You don't need a decent bench. And so this was a slight attempt by Allegri to rest a few players at the beginning, and it backfired. And then Allegri started putting on more and more and more strength, but it was too late by then.
100% though, John. You know that the MO was like, because remember, Pioli did this a couple of seasons ago. You could tell that when we were in the Champions League and they were playing in the Copa, and you can just basically tell that the players were, basically completely checked out. They're basically, you know yourself. They're kind of getting told, listen, guys, focus on the Serie A, nothing else.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of the fan base were particularly upset about us getting knocked out here, to be honest. I think a lot of people said, well, we're so limited in squad size, we can't really be going after the Coppa d'Italia. Hasn't any comment on the Coppa d'Italia match?
Not only on that match, but also on the match before, is that Zaccagni, he's a real threat. I think he was involved in almost every attempt when we won, and this goal, he scored. I think it wasn't.
I think that's why he's there. That's why his picture's there. I usually put a picture of the goal scorers.
Yeah. So Zaccagni, I mean, yeah, he's a great player, and if we did want to win it, he would have been a player to look out for. But yeah, you guys right. It was very much a how can you say, a warm-up game of sorts. Yeah. So that's the scoreline that you get.
Yeah. So that was us out of the Coppa d'Italia. And again, this occasion was odd. It was basically once the subs were made and we had, all the big players on, suddenly we started to take over possession. But Lazio, in every other thing, was really the better team for the match. And they deserved that win. So they'll take that forward. And we're out of another competition, but I don't think we've got the squad to be able to take on the Coppa d'Italia, to be honest with you. Right. Then we had a really interesting game, and we definitely need to talk about this one. Torino took a 2-0 lead. And before the game, I remember saying this: don't take Torino seriously. I remember saying this in the chat group. They are not a contender. They've got Duvan Zapata, who is a lovely striker, who goes and causes us all hell. Duvan Zapata himself. They take a 2-0 lead. Now, why did they take a 2-0 lead? First, Tomori did his best impersonation of a volleyball player. This is a still taken from the game, and I'm just obviously, as a bit of a joke, I replaced the football with a volleyball, but this is 100% a handball. To watch him complain about this to the referee as if he had done nothing wrong was pathetic, to be honest with you. And I think a clip came out. Was it after this game where Tomori was interviewed about Modric? And oh my God, have you guys seen that clip? He says the word like 500 times in 1 minute.
Do you know, I think Sempre Milan, if it wasn't Sempre Milan, it was someone on Twitter had a really funny kind of picture. So when Tomori gets caught doing something that he shouldn't have done, right? He puts his hands out like that and puts on a specific face, right? And it's like every time he fouls someone for a penalty, he does it. It's like, oh, it's just funny, man.
It was just obvious penalty, and that was given, and that was them 1-0 up. And then Pavlovic did his best impersonation of a non-existing defender. And again, he just backed off. And I think this 91 is Zapata, I think. And he hit it into the corner and scored that goal. They went 2-0 up. And again, our fan base, all hell broke loose. You know what I did? I put money on Milan to win. Because despite this, we were punching holes in Torino because Torino are a nonsense team in defense, absolute nonsense. And one player we did not expect to come through and hit a Scud missile was Rabiot. He hit a shot with such power and such force. Did you guys? I think it might be. The
scariest thing is this image has not been doctored.
Not at all. I just literally found the right still in the replay of the match. I think that ball was going at 500 miles per hour. It was incredible. I think it.
Do you ever play Street Fighter 2, John?
Yes, Hadouken, right? Is that what you're going to say?
No, do you remember who's that guy, Guile? Was it the US Army guy?
Yes.
And this is like the Sonic
like
boom
a
thing,
this is like a bicycle kick sort of thing with the.
That's it. Rabiot does it with his shots.
I mean, what a shot! I mean, that was incredible. It might be a contender for a goal of the month quite easily. Beautiful shot, but that took us to 2-1, and then who was the player that had a fever before this match, the night before, a high fever? He really didn't look well, but he had just recovered from the fever the morning of the match. None other than Captain America, Christian Pulisic, who scored 2 goals and brought us the win. Magnificent. I mean, the guy, I can't speak highly enough about him, and the fact that he really did look ashen faced. Do you remember seeing him in this game when he came on? He didn't look well. He looked like he was still, still really recovering from that high fever. So the game, we had most of the possession because, as I said, Torino are absolutely a nonsense a squad. We had most of the shots. We had most shots on target. We missed the most big chances. We had the most corners. So we had to win that game, right? And I said when we were 2-0 down, we're going to see if this team has got any balls. And I got to say, they showed a little bit of conviction there. So impressive win. And that took us to the top of the table. So Kim is just saying, I'm listening right now, straight out of the gym, and it's nearly 4 a.m. on a Monday. Oh, Kim, you absolute legend, mate. Absolute legend.
That's great.
Yeah,
Early morning.
I mean, who doesn't appreciate the gym going at 4 a.m. more than Shane?
That's
Hey,
it.
come on.
That's it.
Right. Now, let's talk about a quick recap of the Champions League. Serie A teams' performances in the Champions League. And yes, I just want to remind everyone, you know what happened to me today? I was at the barber's, I was having a haircut, and I was watching Milan Sassuolo. The barber was like, what are you doing? What are you watching on your phone? Because I put it down next to me as he was cutting my hair.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I'm watching Milan. And he goes, oh, you're watching the Champions League. So his immediate thought when I said Milan, he said, oh, you must be watching the Champions League. And I said, no. This is not Milan today. We're watching a league. But it's interesting when people are non-experts, they associate Milan to the Champions League.
Yeah.
Right. All I wanted to do was just a quick recap on the results.
John, so do some deluded Milan fans these days.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. We'll win the Champions League. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what I wanted to do was just highlight the results because this will have an impact on our ability to win the league this season, in my opinion. So Juventus, remember, they got rid of Tudor, went with a more serious coach, and they are starting to turn things around. Although Paphos, really, they should have beaten them, and they did 2-0. Napoli, on the other hand, this is Conte again, right? Conte complaining pre-game and post-game. Same squad, he said, in the Serie A, same squad in the Champions League, and then we're going to play again. And they lost to Benfica 2-0. Who's the Benfica coach? Here's a question for you guys. Do you know?
It's Jose Mourinho.
That's right. Very good. Jose Mourinho. So
okay.
He goes and takes another win. Atalanta, CDK, man of the match performance, beating Chelsea. Absolutely astounding. By the way, that was 9-1. I had a tidy little win there. Thank you very much. And then Inter Milan lost at home to Liverpool. And I just want to have a discussion about this. You all know, you've heard Shane before. He definitely does not bleed black and blue blood. None of us are Interisti here. But is this a penalty? Is this Bastoni just touching the shirt of someone and then that someone going down as if he's been shot by a sniper? Is that worthy of a penalty? Unbelievably not. That's I could not. If it had been our club, it would have been uproar. Guys, this was not a penalty.
Same EPL fans then complaining that, like, you know, the Italian league teams tend to throw themselves down too easy in the box.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I watched a pre-game. I watched Uncle Sharma have a pre-game, and he had some guy called, do you know him? His name's Mo, I think. I don't know what he calls himself. Judge Mo, he calls himself, I think. And he was like, Liverpool are trash. We will destroy them. We're so much better. We're the team that dominates every other team in Serie A. I think the concern for Inter is that in this game, they did not dominate. They were completely two terrible teams cancelling each other out. And then suddenly a penalty given away out of nothing. And Inter could not turn anything around and they lost the game. That continues that trend that every time they go up against any kind of a resemblance of a serious squad, they crumble. And I think they really do like an apple crumble, as they say in the UK. Any comments on Inter?
Yeah, I have something to say about that foul in the box, and you may say that I'm reaching a bit, but if you dial it all the way back to when we played Chelsea many years ago now, Tomori against Mason Mount, shoulder to shoulder, Tomori puts his hand on Mason Mount's shoulder, and Mason Mount goes down. Tomori gets the red, and I think it's a penalty given as well. So again, I'm reaching, but I'm going to say it. I think the Champions League is protecting or really wants Premier League teams to advance as far as possible. I mean, the sensitivity is just too razor thin to not give these penalties in favor of these English teams. That's my theory. So yeah, even if Inter had taken the lead, it would have been a draw. So these things can happen. We just have to watch out because, yeah, I think maybe the UEFA, in terms of the backers, the sponsors, maybe they're English firms behind it. Who knows? Conspiracy theory.
Well, I think it was the worst decision I think I've seen in quite a while, and it was just because the match was free on Amazon Prime to watch. They choose one game per week to show in the Champions League, and so I was like, oh, let's just sit down and chill. And actually, again, why Liverpool were 5-1, by the way, in betting odds? They were just asking for it, really. I thought Liverpool 5-1.
Yeah.
Inter are not that much favourites over them, so I just put again, I had a nice little win here.
But John, do you remember the other incident about when we played? I think we played Atletico, Kululu.
Oh, Kessie,
It was
wasn't it?
sorry.
Kessie got sent off or something like that.
Yeah, not
wasn't
only
it?
that, but when we played against Atletico, and there was an incident in the box where the ball came off the Atletico player and hit Kalulu in the hand, and his hands were down.
Yeah.
And the ref didn't check VAR, and it was given as a penalty, and I think we lost that one.
Well, as I said, I trolled Inter fans afterwards. I mean, I'm not a subscriber of this Judge Mo guys, but trust me, I found him. That evening, I found his channel, and I just dropped bombs because it was hilarious. It was just hilarious. However, this is the current Champions League table, right, guys? And I want to point Napoli out. The top 24 teams are the teams that are going into a playoff, guys. Napoli are risking possibly getting automatically disqualified at this stage. As you said earlier on, Shane, if Napoli get knocked out now and focus only on Serie A, we're in trouble.
We're toast, yeah.
We are in trouble. I think Inter look like if they finish or in the top 8, obviously they go automatically through. Atalanta, incredible achievement to be there, to be honest with you. Incredible, truly. But Juventus, they're going to have to go into a playoff. I think they could get knocked out quite easily. But Juventus are irrelevant now. They had so much damage done by Tudor and his inadequacies. And they have, as I've said before, they have a really poor defense and a really poor goalkeeper. Just Di Gregorio is not a serious goalkeeper if you want to be going for titles and top 4. But Napoli are the ones that I think, guys, keep an eye out because I don't know if Conte's trying to do this on purpose or what. I don't know if he's trying his best in the Champions League, but this kind of looks to me like get out early and then win Serie A could be
I'd imagine. So I'd imagine. I think he is funny enough, right? Because I think if you have an owner like ADL, dude, right, ADL is going to be pushing you because he's going to see the prize money from the Champions League and he's going to want access to that, right?
Yes.
I think what this is just Conte showing his limitations in the UCL.
Yeah, I mean, he does this, doesn't he? He comes out with messages and says that we're just not big enough. We're not serious enough for this, and I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, Conte, it's just Conte way, isn't it? That's why he could never fit together with our marvelous management. Furlani knew better, thank God.
Like if you kind of put it in this way, right? You're kind of level with Karabag, Copenhagen. Yeah. I don't want to say Benfica because Benfica are historically a big club. Paphos.
Yeah.
Union Saint-Gilloise. I don't even know what country they're from. I'm guessing Switzerland because, and again, the only reason that they're in this is because, Switzerland or UEFA is, located, and that's the only reason why. Um, yeah, it's embarrassing for Serie A, to be honest.
It is. It is. But if you look at it, look at the top eight guys. You've got two English, you've got two Italian, two Spanish. It's quite an interesting spread, isn't it? In the
Yep.
top eight, it's quite even.
And I
It's quite
think
good.
and I think this is going to have a big influence, especially what happens to Napoli about that fifth Champions League place, right?
Yeah.
You know what? You might be right, Hasni. You might be right. They might be causing the league not to get that fifth place. You're right. Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy as well, right? Imagine being an Arsenal fan and knowing that, like,
Yeah.
every year you're going to be first in the Premier League till about February, March,
Oh,
or you
dear.
could even be first in the Champions League table, and then you're gonna, you're still not going to win anything. Imagine.
I mean, yeah, 6 out of 6 wins. That's quite impressive. They've even beaten Bayern Munich, right?
Oh yeah, but you know yourself, they're still going to get dumped out when they start playing like serious teams.
Oh, they're brilliant when it doesn't count. They're absolutely
Yeah,
brilliant
this
when it
is
doesn't
it.
count.
Like they're,
Yeah, best team in the world at
Yeah.
irrelevant football.
yeah.
Hey. Hello, Carmelo. Ciao. Buonasera. Right. So let's move on to the next one. So today's game, I'm always going to give, Italian legends, World Cup winners their fair dues. But the game today finished 2-2. We had Bartesaghi, first of all, showing us why Estupinian does not belong in a starting 11. Bartesaghi is better than Estupinian. I like the fact that he's basically saying, look, I might be young, but I mean, come on, those two finishes are neat, weren't they? They were clean finishes.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. The Sassuolo goals, they were very neat moves themselves, and you cannot take that away from them. The intricate passing and the finishing was very clean. So impressive. But I don't know what to say, guys. If you're 2-1 up, you shouldn't be conceding more goals. And Allegri will be absolutely fuming by this. This is the kind of thing that will make him die
John,
inside, conceding a
things.
second goal.
Two things. Inter have just scored against Genoa in the 6th minute. The second they scored.
Who told you that pre-game that what did I say? I just put a neat amount in.
That's it.
A neat
And
amount
then
on.
Carmelo, what are you talking about? The Champions League? It doesn't concern you. I know, Carmelo. I know.
It does concern us, Carmelo. It affects our Serie A race, mate.
Mm.
That's why. Listen to the context, Carmelo. Context is important. Right. So, 2-2. Do you think the result was fair, Shane?
Do I think it was fair? I think it was very low IQ football from Sassuolo. I think they're a very limited team. There's not really a whole amount of skill there. There doesn't seem to be any solid players. What they are is they're very physical. I would have been super impressed if we pulled off 3 points here. Because historically, we always kind of struggled against these super physical squads. We just didn't really have an answer. I was hoping that someone like Rabiot would be able to help us out a bit more on that this season. There was a couple of points during the game, though, that it was a bit concerning because, like, Modric had 2 players on him. And this seems to be like a recurring theme now.
Oh, they've spotted it. I mean, it was going to happen at some point, Shane, wasn't it?
Which is absolutely fine, right? But what I'm saying is if you were a serious club, you would have a striker that will capitalize on the fact that he's only being marked on 1 player versus 2 because that player's gone out to mark Modric.
Mhm.
Problem is other teams can basically stack up now against Modric because, I mean, there's literally no point in marking Nkunku because he's useless.
Yeah, we'll get to Nkunku. We'll get to Nkunku in a minute. We'll get to him. But you're right. If 2 players are on him, that means someone is available. But if that someone is not good enough to take the ball and do anything with it,
doesn't matter.
Then
they can't all be Pavlovic, John. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, goodness gracious. How many games this season have we seen when Pulisic was scoring the winner? Who was the player highest on the pitch next to him?
You can literally see his forehead. I've never seen someone's head where like 90% of their head is basically their forehead.
He should be better at headers then, shouldn't he?
He should, like, because he's just, he's like Professor X out of the X-Men. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just You know,
You think he can will the ball into the goal?
I think
Sometimes I
so.
feel like he can.
I think so.
Hasni, did you manage to watch the game at all?
No, I didn't mention catch. I was out, but I caught the highlights. But I do want to say something that it was linked to the Lazio game. I'm starting to notice a big dip in form for Tomori. I know that you even showed the highlights that he had that one tackle-ish that managed to throw the attacker off the ball. But the fact that we have the three at the back, I think we're seeing a big problem with Tomori, and this is why we're having these issues. Not only then in the Torino game, but also in this game as well. I mean, the goals, they were almost identical, right? Both, but just coming from the different sides. The first one from our left-hand side, the other one from our right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken. Everyone's ball watching. They're not seeing the attacker run through, and yeah, we're just taking a nice angle to score in the goal. But that being said, I'll take the positives. Yeah, I think Bartizaghi, if you can keep this up, I mean, if you have this performance, you don't miss Theo, but we have been missing him for quite a bit. And that's what we need. Maybe this is really Bartizaghi's time to shine.
Yeah, I think Estupiñán can sit down and wait. Now we need to see what Bartizaghi is capable of. I mean, you got to give the context, right? It is Sassuolo. Give that context first of all, right? Shane, any comments on the game?
Yeah, very harsh that Bartizaghi didn't get man of the match here.
Right? Wasn't that weird? Yeah.
Very harsh. Like, because the guy that got it was the guy that scored Sassuolo's second goal. Outside of that goal, I didn't really notice him doing anything all game.
Yeah.
So, like,
I did think that was odd, wasn't it? That was very odd.
I think that was very harsh, and especially like when you have a fucking, let's say, a left back or a left wing back, I guess now, scoring 2 goals. Like, and you're not going to give man of the match. What the fuck is that about? But besides that,
maybe they're judging him on the fact that we
conceded 2, isn't it?
Yeah,
maybe.
They could be that, but even when you looked at the 2 conceded goals, Hosni, right? Especially the second one, more so.
Nothing to do with him.
That was a well set up goal.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's goals like that are they're straight off the training ground, and those happen. Well, like at the end of the day, what you're really hoping for in situations like that is that you have enough firepower up front to be able to recover. That doesn't help when you're passing the ball into Nkunku, who he's not a striker, right? I feel sorry for Allegri, to be honest.
We're gonna have to discuss this because it's coming up in a minute. We'll discuss Nkunku in a minute, Shane. It is a problem. The striker position is a huge problem for us, and you can't keep asking the midfielder. You can't keep asking Pulisic to be cannoniere the entire season. I mean, he might end up being that because we create so many chances, but on his own, can he drag us to the Serie A title? I don't think so. No.
I mean, what has been nice, it's been a bit scary, but what has been nice over the last couple of games is you've seen games where individual players have shown moments of brilliance that have recovered the game for us. Like you had Leao in that earlier game that you mentioned that he scored, right? And then you had Rabiot.
Yes.
Right? And today you hit Bartizaghi. Fair enough, the result wasn't what we wanted. That's good. However, you still need something else in the tank for the days that, players aren't always going to show up, and you're not always going to have one player on your team that has a quality performance. But what you're hoping is that the other 10 on the pitch are going to have a sufficient enough performance that they can kind of, still get something. But we still have a huge amount of holes in this squad. Let's be honest here, right? We're nowhere near built yet, let alone if we go and win the Champions League, if we go and win the league this year.
If we win the Champions League, you're one of them, Shane.
I forgot. I became Milan Twitter there for a second. So if we did go on and win the league, right, it would be horrific to watch us next season. Because this team going into the Champions League, we would not would not, we don't have anywhere near sufficient depth for the Champions League, so our league form would suffer. So we're probably going to finish 5th or 6th, which will mean that we won't qualify for the Champions League the following year. We get destroyed in the Champions League because, as far as I'm concerned, even our best 11 are nowhere near good enough. Pavlovic is not a Champions League level player, neither is Tomori. Unpopular opinion, Gabbia, while being our best defender, is not a Champions League level defender. And I know that'll probably make people upset, but
Nathan will kill you for saying that, mate.
but I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean. I get why the attraction is there with Gabbia, and believe me, I want him to really succeed because he's homegrown, he's Italian, he's all the things that we didn't have for quite a while at the club, which was, a young Italian player, just like Bartesaghi. I want him to succeed, and Camarda, I want all these players to succeed. I don't think Gabbia is quality enough. I think he would Gabbia be able to play at Inter as a starter?
No.
I would say, sorry, I would actually say yes, because I think that, listen, I think Inter's Bastoni has been dreadful. I genuinely think he's been dreadful. Like, obviously, Bastoni's picked for Italy and Inter, and he has sucked really bad this season. He has played very similarly. I'm going to tell you, he's played very similarly to Pavlovic. He runs forward and marauds forward, but actually he has been relying a lot on much older players like Acerbi. He's been relying very much on players like that. So actually, I think Gabbia in the Italian squad would replace him. Honestly, I do think that. I do. And it's not me being biased. They're both Italian, right? So I don't care either way.
Actually, that's a fair point. I forgot this guy existed, Kim. Thanks for reminding me. We're all the Shari lovers. I get.
Actually, where was he today?
Well, the thing is, you see, at the moment, right, we can't really make an opinion. We know what we have in Jimenez. I think we're kind of realizing what we have in Nkunku, right, and we know, and well, I think we know what we have in Estupinian, right. But with Jashari, I think we still don't know, because he had that really bad injury. He's kind of coming back. Allegri doesn't seem to be mad to use him. I mean, I don't know if they're even going to be a like-for-like swap, right? But if I'm a professional football player and if Loftus-Cheek is getting picked ahead of me, I'm really questioning my life choices at that point.
So, I mean, isn't Jashari seen by Allegri as Modric's replacement? So he's actually never going to play as long as Modric is fit. Am I wrong, guys? Just correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, I thought Ricci was. Ricci was the man that was.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah.
Ricci's seen as Modric's replacement.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So why is Jashari not playing then? I'm confused.
I reckon
why Jashari even in the squad?
Was...
I mean, why do we spend money? By the way, he's the most expensive signing? Sorry, the second most expensive signing that we made in the last Mercato. I mean, hats off to Furlani again. I mean, this is absolute genius of business right here.
Grazie, signor Furlani. Grazie tanto. Grazie mille, signor Furlani.
I know, and fair dues to Kim. I know he was never hot on Jashari in the first place. I know that. But you see, the thing is, right? Is it a situation where is it Moneyball being Moneyball, where they know that they've got a player that they think they have a player that has like untapped potential, but it's going to take like a season to bring the best out of them. I mean, look at, let's say, Tonali, for example. We all miss Tonali. We all know he's a fucking world-class player. I miss him. Everyone does. Every Milan fan does, right?
Yes.
But the first season he was here, John.
Yes.
Useless.
He wasn't very good. Yeah, we knew
so
that.
Maybe maybe there's a bit of that. I'm not saying Jashari will be anywhere near the same quality as Tonali. Maybe that's what they're kind of banking on, and maybe it was like this isn't a player for this season, and maybe that's the way they look at the winter. I don't know.
Shane,
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
have to disagree a little bit
Okay.
if you'll allow me. So in the case of Tonali, we got in a bit of a bidding war. Yeah? Not say bidding war. There were other clubs really in for Tonali, right? But he just chose us, and we had to pay top dollar, and Maldini had to go back in the following season try to renegotiate that obligation to buy. In the case of Jashari, this feels a lot like CDK. Now, how I see our club is that it's not that we need to give them a season and they'll become good, but they'll become good when when they leave the club and they go to another club. I'm sure Jashari is a great player, but maybe this is not the club for him. And it puzzles me about why Furlani and his little gang thinks that this is the club to really bring such players up to their full potential. We're not. Uh, when was last time it's happened? Yeah, as you mentioned, maybe Tonali, but other than that,
Krunic.
no. Yeah,
Hey,
Krunic was
Krunic,
always world class. Come
hey.
on.
He was always world class. He was born world class.
That's it.
Max makes a good point. Jashari's seen as Fofana replacement. Fofana was injured today, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek stepped in instead.
That's
so
the thing, and it's
kind of makes you
tragic.
go, "What's happening here?"
It's so tragic, right? I just whenever I see Loftus Cheek play, right, I come away with such a level of disappointment because he's a strapping young fella. Like he's a big guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he's big. Like you'd expect him that he'd be very strong, and he seems to just get pushed off the ball so easily that it's fucking insane.
But guys, did you think that today Ruben Loftus-Cheek was actually trying to hit a ball across the box, or do you think he was actually taking a shot at goal and he just happened to go in the path of Bartesaghi who scored?
I
think I
that
know
was a
which
shot.
one I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's not clinical at all. He flatters to deceive. He doesn't really do anything really well. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that I can see in his game that I would say he's like very good at doing that. Doesn't really run with the ball well. Doesn't dribble past people very well. Often gets caught in possession. Doesn't I? He's a signing I've never understood. He's a player we don't need. Doesn't work in the Premier, or sorry, doesn't work in the Serie A. Yeah, and like Max said,
Absolutely.
Chelsea gave him away for a reason. But the thing is, though, Max as well, right? Is you see, you can always try and get good talent away from Chelsea because they have so many players that look at Pulisic, for example. Or even Tomori, the early Tomori, right?
Yeah.
Like we that was a steal as well, right? When Tomori
We've been doing Chelsea on some weird favors, though, Shane. We can't hide it anymore. We've
True.
been giving them some cash. And I think, I know Furlani has a master plan. I always believe in the man. A CEO of that quality doesn't make decisions like that for no reason. But we gave money for Nkunku for a reason to them, right? He has a plan. We just haven't understood it yet because we're not smart as he is. We can't play 4D chess the way he does. We don't see the world in the same way he does. So Shane and Hasni and everyone watching, let's just give Furlani more time because he needs more time. In his mind,
just
maybe
needs another 5 years.
Yes, maybe in his mind, Nkunku and Jashari will be like, I don't know, Ronald Koeman and Van Basten in 2030 when the new stadium opens, or 2032 when the new stadium opens.
That's it.
That
And
might be
remember
what's in his
this.
vision. Yeah,
And remember
we will
this.
remember this discussion.
If anyone ever says anything bad about Furlani, you can accuse them of racism, because saying anything bad about hobbits is fundamentally racist.
Oh God!
You know what I would really like to see? I would like to see Furlani's Chat GPT history.
Do you want to see mine, Hosni? There's some fucking bad stuff on it, man.
Okay,
Oh
other than
God! Yeah. Right.
what just that he may have, but who to buy? Who can I buy that's on the cheap? Who else is good as Chelsea? I mean, this is sort of things that I think Furlani computer.
Who would you buy if you were me? And ChatGPT goes, Jashari and then Nkunku. How much would you pay for them? 37 million. It goes, all right, yeah, that sounds good. That's his zealous analytics that the club is using. It's also known as OpenAI. Oh,
That's
God. Okay, right. let's move from this a little bit. Let's move from this. So the game against Sassuolo, I've got to say, very limited squad. We shouldn't be complete. We should not. We should not have been dropping points to them. I'm sorry. Most shots on target, big chances missed, most corners, everything. Sassuolo just, and remember, Berardi was injured. They had a huge injury list, by the way, coming to us, and they managed to match us for the game. So that's very bad. Right. So where are we right now? Well, if Shane's update is correct and Inter are winning 1-0, they have
Yep.
gone to, at the moment, as live scoring wise, they're on 33 points. Napoli have lost to Udinese, which means that they are still below us. So right now, the league table correct is Inter first, Milan second, Napoli third. That's how it is. And that's worst case scenario. That's how it will be by the end of today. And Allegri will say, "Oh, that's not so bad. That's not so bad." And the club will say, "That's not so bad either."
Hold on,
Okay.
John. This is
Yeah.
actually a great question coming from Kim. Thiago Silva or Sergio Ramos? Who would you guys pick? I'll start with you, John. Who would you pick out of those two and why?
Tell you, neither. I'll be brutally honest, neither. I am sick and tired of Serie A being a geriatrics league. Everyone is coming to us. I remember, I'm going to sound like such an old man. I remember when Christian Vieri was interviewed by a Premier League reporter saying, "Can you come to us?" when he was at his peak, when he was blasting goals left, right, and center. And he laughed at that suggestion and said, "Maybe when I'm retired." And the whole room laughed with him. Now, Serie A, look at most clubs. They've got 38, 39-year-old plus players in them. This is no way of building for the future. This is literally just using for now. So I love Thiago Silva. You guys know I love Thiago Silva. Which Milanista wouldn't love that guy? Sergio Ramos, take him or leave him. He's a thug as far as I'm concerned. Could they do a job? You know what? In Serie A, because it's a geriatrics league, they might do a job. But am I happy about that? No. I think the entire league is suffering because of this kind of behavior. So I don't want either of them. That's my answer. How about you, Hasni?
Yeah, same. I really want us to gamble. I mean, even if you take them, you're going to be gambling anyway, right? They could arrive, they could play one game, and it might be like a spectacular, amazing game, and they could be injured for the rest of the season. We've seen that happen before where it just didn't work out. Mandzukic is an example up front. So if we have to gamble, let's just gamble on the youth. Let's just see where it goes. That's
Bravo. I like that. I like that answer. Bravery. Most clubs just be more brave. Try some youth. Be Italian or not, just try your youth squad. Just try some of them. Let's see what they can do. Inject some life into the league. Don't go down this avenue, which is, as you said earlier, Shane, Zeko has gone to Fiorentina. Every club is looking. I mean, guys, Mkhitaryan was playing.
Jamie Vardy is there. Who else?
There you go. You see, Jamie Vardy. Mkhitaryan was like Acerbi, 37, 38. Mkhitaryan in the midfield for Inter Milan against Liverpool. Come on, guys. These guys will just be blown away. And at some point, you're going to see, like you just described today, Modric, he can't run against someone. He has to beat them from pure skill, right? And positional play. That's how Modric does it. He has incredible first touch, but he can't beat players to a ball. He just can't do it. It's just we can't go forward like this, honestly. Yeah,
Honestly,
I don't want either. Yeah, you're gone, Shane.
If I was to answer this, I completely understand. Let's say the bias that you guys have against it, and I understand why. Right. However, I would pick Thiago Silva, right, and the reason why is that yes, I know he's old. I know we're not getting the fucking epic tier level Thiago Silva at his age. However, look how competent, right, Tomori looked when he had Kier alongside him, calming him down.
Okay.
So what happens? Yeah. You see, you do. If we're going to, and as to what Hosni said about the youth players, I completely understand. And by youth players, I mean, hopefully youth players from our youth team, not like these Atakames, the Winters, who, to be honest, don't seem of quality. Odogus, these guys don't scream quality to me, right? I think that's more feasible if you have an experienced player yelling at them, telling them, be in this position, move up, calm the fuck down, like screaming at them and yelling at them to make sure that they do the right thing. That's why
I,
we know that
I,
Thiago Silva
Shane,
has
you
it in
say
him to
that.
do it.
yeah.
Shane, you say that, but that's assuming that they're coming and they really want to play at the highest level, or they really want to give it the best. We don't know what some of these guys are like when they come back from overseas, when they've been on their
Well,
holiday leave for a year.
this is why if I was in a situation where I had to choose between the two,
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Yeah,
I
Thiago,
wouldn't.
because of his history with us. Yeah,
Exactly, and I wouldn't pick Sergio Ramos, who has a more, let's say, decadent trophy cabinet, and who was, let's say, a world class, like he was a
Well.
great player, right? But the thing is we already have a mercenary at board level in the club. We don't need one in the defensive line. That's not where you need
we
a
you know
mercenary.
what, Shane? You know what Sergio Ramos would fit perfectly?
Yeah.
Como. Send him
There
to
we
Como.
go.
They'll
No,
love him
actually,
there.
that makes a lot of sense. To be honest, I mean,
I mean,
that
come
does
on,
make a lot
mate.
of
They'll
sense.
love him there. They'll love
Yeah.
him there. Yeah, yeah. That's where he should go. Piss off. Go
But
over there.
I think Thiago Silva would, even if he's not playing, the fact that you have, because you know how, look, we were all young men once, right?
Still are.
I'm not saying this as a middle-aged person, because 40 is the new 20. Fuck you guys if you say any different. But so, but the thing is what young men always appreciate, if they have a role model that's experienced, that's reached the levels that they want to reach, that will tell them how to do things, that will elevate their game. So if you're, let's say, if we look, for example, who's our most steady defender is Gabia, hands
Yes.
down, right?
Yes, 100%.
Now, the thing is, Gabia hasn't done anything in his career in terms of winning things, really.
He's won the
And that's not
Scudetto.
a slight on Gabia. Did he get the Scudetto? Was he?
He was
Yeah.
part of the squad.
Wasn't he at Villarreal that season, though?
No.
Or was that the season after?
Have we lost
Oh, no,
Husney? Is Husney frozen?
No. Can you hear me?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I
we can hear you. Or are
dude.
you just not sure? You're just not sure. Was he part of that squad, Husney? Can you confirm?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He was. All right.
okay.
There you go.
Well, fair dues.
He's
I
got
stand
he's got
corrected.
a Scudetto medal, mate. There you go, Shane.
Yeah.
I see, but I guess, doesn't Thiago Silva have a UCL one?
Yeah, but
And the Premier
Listen,
League title, I'm sure.
So
the
my
thing
only
is,
concern, with centre backs, Shane.
Yeah.
My only concern is when you lose the pace, what happens is you start to become more fearful and you start to sit deeper. That's my main concern. Is because you can't. You know that if you go further up the pitch, you can't run back, right? So you can use your intelligence up to a certain level, but then when the physicality, because of what that position requires you to do, you end up sitting deeper. And I mean, all right, let's look at this. Where does Modric go to pick up the ball these days? Like literally, as he's getting older and older, where does he go and pick up the ball? He picks up the ball a lot of the time from Gabia, right?
Yep.
Like literally, he's next to him and he starts to play because he wants to be involved in the play. Now, part of it is because Milan invites pressure because of the way Allegri likes to play. But part of it is also because the guy, you can't expect a player like that to actually link defense and attack by running with the ball anymore. You just can't,
True.
right?
True.
You just can't. So anyway, I'm just making a point here. Thiago Silva, if you had to choose one, I agree with what you're saying, Shane. He's got history with us. He knows what the club means.
Yeah.
And therefore, he would most likely put everything into it, as opposed to we know nothing about Ramos. But I do not know. I don't really want the league to be doing this anymore.
I know I do. Me neither, John. But I think if you take out the personal bias of, we don't want to be seen as the dumping ground for all the geriatrics, right? And I understand that. But I think at a certain point, you do want. I think an experienced person in the back line would, let's say, elevate some of the weak players that we have there.
All right. On pure footballing terms, if you're saying I've got very limited budget,
Yeah.
I need someone in January, and I
Yeah.
need something to keep me going till the end of the year.
Exactly.
You know, you go, okay. but you know that doesn't mean anything in terms of the future. It's just for now, right?
And
Okay.
exactly. But on that virtue as well, isn't Lewandowski available?
Oh Jesus! I mean, why don't we give them old age pension and bus passes to every player as they come in as part
But I
of
don't
signing
know,
up for Milan?
because I mean, like, what age
Shame,
did Giroud come to
Maldini is
us?
available.
Let's give them all tram tickets, mate, as they
Maldini's
get in.
available as well.
No.
Maldini, Baresi after his heart surgery, I think he can do 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, why not? Let's get him as well.
No,
I
but
mean,
remember, I know it's not ideal. And look, I mean,
Oh.
ideally, I'd love it if we got like a 21-year-old from Brazil that went on to, win the Ballon d'Or next year. But the thing is, being realistic, I'm saying within our budget, because you know the way these fuckers aren't going to spend, right? Lewandowski might make sense for a season or two. Because he's still banging him in for Barcelona, dude.
All right, I'll say this, right? The
And
striker
we had
position is
Giroud as
definitely a
well.
problem.
I remember
The
we had
striker
Giroud
position is
and
definitely
we
a
had
problem,
Ibra.
Shane. Yeah, well, yeah, we did. They're not normal players. I mean, okay, Lewandowski's not a normal player either. But please stop this. Just stop this. Stop this. Why can't we bring Camarda back, for God's sake? Oh,
Too young, John.
yeah, stupid.
Give him
Too
another
young.
50
What am I
years, then
doing?
we'll-
Yeah. It's too young. It's another 30 years on him. All right. Okay. All right. Here's the next piece. Player focus. So we're going to have a few comments here on players, and because there's a few players in the squad, and we need to talk about them because I think they have had a huge impact on our season so far. So the first one that I want to bring forward is Manyan. Mike Manyan, guys. I count at very minimum 5 points that this guy has won for us. And if you take that out, then, we're talking about potentially being on the edge of top 4. This guy's critical. He has really reached a peak and a level. If I'm correct, he's 31 years old, absolute physical peak. He's not renewing. The club is trying to make us believe that it's because he wants too much money, trying to turn the fans against him. We warned you a year ago that this was going to happen, and it was because they're trying to cash in on him. However, they've not tried to cash in on him. The one comment I want to make is this. His contract is due out this June, right? So what happens if in January someone comes in and offers 20 million for Manyan? Do
They're
you
gonna take
think that the opportunistic people that we have in charge, who are absolutely brilliant in their business dealings, are not going to take it? Now, no one wants to entertain that idea. All the podcasts all the people I've spoken to have said, no, there's no way Milan get rid of Manyan because that would lose us the Serie A title. And I agree, guys. If we lose Manyan, our opportunities of getting near the Serie A title is gone completely, right? There's no way you find someone in January to replace somebody like this. But
John,
he's definitely going to go.
Can we just be honest here, right? Us being, let's say, near first in December was not part of management's plans. Us being in the top 4 was part of management's plans.
100%. I agree with that. 100%.
So as to us not winning the league, management don't give a shit about us winning the league. If we do, it's nice, and they won't be against it, of course. It's not the level of expectation that they have. So as to the fans that are deluded by saying that they wouldn't sell Moynihan, yes, they would, because if you're going, they're thinking about it from the fan perspective.
Yeah.
Our glorious leader Furlani looks at it from a money perspective and then says, if I can make 20 million on a player that I'm going to lose,
I'll make it, or even 10 million, mate. He'll take it.
He's going to take it.
I think. Yeah, I think he would.
I don't think it's going to happen. The reason being is that no one's going to offer any money to the club for Mike to leave in January, because what they can do is that they can offer half of that money that you think they would give the club, and they'll give it direct to Mike and say that, okay, now you're our player in about 6 months' time. That's it. So the Moneyball move for another club will actually be to wait for Mike to run down his contract. Now, I know Mike's great, yeah. I know Mike's great, but if we had to spend the money and if we had to really sign a player, I think we should put it towards a defender, not on a keeper.
No, we need to put it towards a striker. You have to.
Well, you see, you
or a
see,
striker.
there's holes everywhere. You see the problem here. But what I'm saying to you guys is this, Hosni, your point is well taken. In terms of a club that's coming in, I'll be like, if I don't need a goalkeeper right now and I can wait, I wait until the summer. I pick up Mike Mannion and give that 10 million as part of his wage packet. Bang, he comes over, right? However, if I am in desperate need of a goalkeeper because I have some ambition this season to do something very serious, like winning the Champions League, like winning the league, then I go in and splash that 10 million because it's nothing to a club like a Premier League club to do that. So I'm genuinely thinking of a Chelsea or a Man United. I'm not kidding you. Those are the kind of behemoths that will they fart and they drop 10 million pounds, right?
Yeah,
This
but-
is nothing to them. And this goalkeeper is a different league to anything these guys have.
Shout out
But
to
John-
AJ, by the way. I don't recall you
Yeah.
commenting before. If you have
Oh,
done,
yes, it's not.
apologies. But if you are a new commenter, thanks for commenting,
We
AJ.
know
Nice
AJ.
to
We
see
know
you watching.
AJ. Yeah.
Do we know? Do we? Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
John, on that
AJ was
point-
just saying one. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, John, on that point, Man United, they're not playing for anything, yeah? So they just maybe trying to avoid relegation. Maybe that's the objective. Chelsea, I don't recall where they are in the league, but I don't think they're in the run for winning the Premier League, I think.
Chelsea, World Club champions, still in the Champions League, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, but
I'm
Okay.
just saying, Hasni, listen, to those clubs, 10 million pounds to a club like us, 10 million pounds is a huge amount of money, right? Because of the
True.
way we're run so well, we're run so brilliantly well, and we're run by masters that know all the tricks in the book.
That's it.
But to a club like that, I think that kind of money means nothing. And I think they could be, oh well, we can buy this player, just sit him on the bench
Yep.
for whatever.
100%.
They could do it.
That's true, or maybe PSG would come and say that. Fine. I think the deal with PSG is pretty much done, if you ask
There
me.
you go. Or PSG. Jesus, PSG would be a great fit.
What worries
They lost
me
Donnarumma.
is that if Mike leaves, but I don't think in January, but at the end of the season for a Serie A club,
I mean,
that worries me.
so listen.
Because we know that.
Yeah.
So we know
You know when
Juventus-
we beat Inter, and Sommer made that mistake. I went to the chat and I said, "Why don't you guys come and buy Mannion in January?" And their comments were, because they were like melting. This is so funny. He's like, "Why would Mannion want to come to a club like Inter Milan?" And I went, you losers, you absolute losers. Are you seriously? They don't consider themselves as important. And as you said, Hasni, Juve, they are a mess at that goalkeeper position. They need Mike Mannion badly, right? Will they really have that money? Maybe in the summer they might try. Maybe.
So as AJ was saying, though, 1 match per week, millions spent, and still cannot win matches. Tell me you didn't see that coming. So funny enough, AJ, right? I think depending on this Mercato is very key, right? So I think they need to invest in a striker that can actually score goals, right? If they do that, and I don't know, let's say if they do end up keeping Mike, which I can't see, if they do that, and I can reasonably see us winning the Serie A just by virtue of us, we've only one competition. I could actually see that. The concern I would have though then is next year would be fucking awful. Because what will happen is Allegri will become a victim of his own success in the first season. Because what would happen is that management would then turn around and they would look at Allegri and go, well, you've just bought us the league with the players that you have, so you don't really need additional new starter players. You just need backups. Right? They'll get in no-name backups that we don't know where they're from. They'll be from like League 2 in France, right? There'll be these like completely random players. They won't be anywhere near ready to fit into the squad. We'll be playing some of these in the Champions League, which we will get ripped a new one because we don't, to be honest, our starting 11, we don't have 11 Champions League quality players. We have about 5 or 6 on a good day. 4 or 5, depending on who they are, don't have the quality for the Champions League, and that's our starting 11. So you can imagine us going into the Champions League next season with that squad, right? And then somehow trying to fight on the Serie A front as well. That would be horrific. There's no way we would be able to re-qualify for the Champions League the following season, because there's no way we'd finish in the top 4.
So Shane, this is one thing that I've not gone into at all, right? But the project today is only for this season.
Yeah.
Everything is only for this season. Don't think for 1 second about the future, because we don't know where that's going, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, everything that we have today, the squad, the lineup, the setup, the management, the players, are for the 2025-2026 season. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't even for 1 second start to think about an actual project plan, because I think every fan here watching and everyone that subscribes to our channel knows that that's not how these people work. They haven't done this from day one. People were thinking they had a 5-year plan. They never did have a 5-year plan. They're just going from year to year, responding to economic pressures, and the main objective is financial positivity at the end of the year. Now, having laid out what they've laid out on players, they're going to make decisions in the summer regarding what the best thing is to keep the books positive. It's got nothing to do with a long-term project. So Manyan has not been renewed because he would put the books into negativity, presumably. That's why he's not been done, right? It is a stupid move, in my opinion, because it doesn't matter if you pay 8, 9, 10 million. The guy's worth 50, 60, 70 million as a goalkeeper. He's that good. So I would have just renewed him if you could have done, right? Now, of course, they're trying to spin out a story that he's against the club and all sorts and all whatever. But yeah, Shane, next year's project, chaos, complete chaos. Don't even go there. Yeah, the squad is not. Can you imagine how many players are needed to compete in Serie A and Champions League to be added to the squad? There's no, there's no such thing that you can do.
You're looking at least 5 or 6 quality players, and there's no way that management are going to pay up.
There you go.
Like,
exactly.
To be somewhat realistic, guys, to even bring us up to Inter's level, you're going to need 5 or 6. Like,
yeah, absolutely. So that's Manyan out of the way. I just wanted to say that thing. Get your opinions on his likely move in the summer, in January and in the summer. But I think he's leaving.
Gone.
Right, next player, Pulisic, our star, and there's no question whatsoever. This player has been the greatest addition to the squad for several seasons. Amazing individual, great work ethic. I mean, it's not just what he did against Torino, it's what he does every single time he steps on that pitch. He represents Milan in the best way possible. His technical abilities, intelligence, he's just sheer work rate as well. Everything about him points to him being a long-term potential legend of this club if he is surrounded with the right players. Any comments you want to make on Pulisic?
Yeah,
Shout out.
Pulisic, I think it's been. Yeah, sorry, Shane.
No, you're okay. I was need work away, dude. Go on. Sorry, man.
Oh yeah. Pulisic has been our most consistent, very rare case of consistency across seasons. But even last season, when we were particularly bad. So, if a renewal, if the management really had to decide in terms of allocating a budget for Manyan's renewal versus Pulisic, I would forgive them if they actually managed to get Pulisic's renewal across the line. But Pulisic has said quite openly that he's waiting to see how things pan out towards the season. It also might turn out to be a Manyan-like situation for him as well, because he knows that, I'm back at my peak, so I can probably give a shot at, I don't know what, Barcelona or Real Madrid. He could pay me quite a lot of money. But he is really, if you had to choose anyone in this club, if you could guarantee a renewal, it has to be Pulisic. But this is also the issue that we have, that I guess if you're indispensable, then the agents, the player himself, he's also gonna know that, and he's probably gonna ask, I don't know what, Rafa money, or even more than Rafa money, maybe.
Well, I just want to say something. Did you know that Manyan was being paid like 3-point-something million a year? That's a joke. That's a joke wage for a goalkeeper of that quality. You can't.
They've had so long, John. Like,
yeah.
it shows you where the priorities are, right? Because Pulisic, right, didn't start off on the money that he was on now. Right? They bought him in, he was on a lower wage, and then when they seen how well he was doing, they bumped up his pay. And the reason why they were competent for doing that is because that aligns with their business plan of selling jerseys to gangs. Right?
Listen,
Moynihan doesn't
yeah.
fulfill that though.
It,
And
it,
sorry guys, I'm not using the
go.
term yank to to be negative on Americans. It's just it's what we use. We tend to use Americans yanks. It's not a derogatory term. But so he just wants to sell it to Americans, right? Sell jerseys to Americans. Moynihan doesn't fit that, so therefore, why the fuck would you give a world class keeper a raise?
Yeah,
Because you don't give a shit about the sporting side of it, Jan.
Shane,
You just
did you
care about
notice
selling
today?
jerseys.
I was watching the game today. Did you see the banners on the side of the pitch? Constantly buy a Modric shirt, buy a Modric kit. He was constantly being bombarded at the fans, and I'm like, Modric basically pays for himself because he's such a legend, right? That's why he was
does,
brought in.
but remember, like, and I hate to bring up the big M, Maldini,
But that's
right?
Shane. This is the genius of Furlani.
But
I
the
just want
thing
to leave
is
that with you.
Maldini had this plan with Messi as well. And because he basically said, while it would cost a ton of money in terms of wages to bring Messi in, the amount of jerseys that you would sell would easily circumvent his salary.
Well, I did hear that rumor. I remember we spoke about it months and months ago. I thought it was insane, but okay, it was a good plan. I mean, any big legend like this would pay for themselves in essence. But anyway, so Rafik makes a comment. Guess what? Manyan is leaving, and Bartasagi might be sold to this winter or summer because Forlani thinks he's Brad Pitt. I'm sorry, Rafik. Honestly, Brad Pitt doesn't compare to Furlani. Furlani's above that level, all right? He could be a Hollywood star if he wanted to be. Now, on the other one is why was Pulisic replaced in the middle of the
Guys.
second half? We had
I
no
just
one
thought
left
of
to
something.
score. Go on.
Can you imagine that they managed to get Manyan's renewal across the line? I don't know what they pay him, like 9 million, and the day after Manyan starts speaking with like an American accent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe
Yeah.
in the Milan store, the letters that spell out like Manyan's name is like extra, like $10 per letter. I mean, they could do all those kind of things. I mean, that's the genius of Furlani, right?
But the
He's a
thing is,
genius.
though, Hosni, right? You see, the thing is we're like, I'll say the same thing that I said when Teo left, right? And I'm not being derogatory here to Bartazagi. Right, Bartazagi is not and never will be as good as Teo. Right. Even I know that Teo dropped off quite a lot, right? We know why his head wasn't in it, right? However, in terms of overall talent and skill, Bartazagi will never be at Teo's level. So this is why I was so butthurt when Teo left, right? Even though he did. And I'll say the same thing about Moynihan. You can't replace players of that quality. You just can't.
No. Yeah, these are literally world level players. Yeah, World Cup
can't
winning
replace
level players. They are very, very hard to find. I agree completely on that. So Rafik, we'll go to your point in a minute to discuss why Pulisic was replaced because we're going to talk about our coach in a minute, all right? And these post game comments. So let's move on from Pulisic. I think we're all agreed on that. Just wanted to have a brief comment on Nkunku, winger, striker, 37 million euro player. Lead balloon. That's how he's gone. There's a saying in the UK that joke has gone down like a lead balloon. It's gone down really badly. What do you guys have to say about Nkunku? I think he's been the biggest flop, and I don't know what the vision was for bringing him in. I guess somebody saw him as a replacement for Leao, I guess, but I wanted to hear your opinion on his performances so far, his dynamism on the pitch, and the level of his play. Shane.
Just not a player that fits in with their system. He was to be honest, even though we know we'll forever be thankful to Furlani for basically bringing this glorious club back to the pinnacle of the greatest balance sheets in Syria. The the fact that Furlani did bring him in, he sanctioned him in because you know this, because Allegri was asked about Nkunku. He was like, I don't know who he is as a player and I don't know what to do with him. So I assume he was just, this is an opportunity buy that hasn't worked out. Doesn't belong in the
37 million opportunity buy.
Doesn't belong in this system. Yeah, ironically, I think he would work. I think the only place where I could see him working would be if he was, let's say, going to play instead of Leao as purely as a left winger. I think he'd be a bit more dangerous. But even that, you have Pulisic for that, right? Who does a better job than he does. So, not needed. Even, you know, if you're not scoring goals or, you know, being dangerous against Sassuolo, you don't belong in the league. So, best of luck. I think, you know, him and Jimenez, you know, if they can recoup something like 50 or 60 million for the both of them and try and, you know, turn that into like a striker, even one striker, for, you know, for the winter, then that's what we got to do, because it's painful watching him. Just, you know, I mean, there was even a great example today, John. I think was it Bartazaghi cut a ball into the box. If it wasn't Bartazaghi, it was Salamakers. I can't remember the exact side, but it was towards the end of the game, right? And he cut in a lovely ball, right? Where all it really took was if Nkunku lunged for the ball, if that hits off of him somewhere, his chest, his thigh, his ankle, wherever, right? That's going towards the goal from the 6-yard box, right? Instead, Nkunku doesn't even go for the ball. So then it just goes out, useless, attempt missed. So he's
as Shane, as Allegri said, Nkunku needs to learn to smile more.
I don't know, Rafik, we don't want to go there yet. Bertazaghi's giving
No.
up the DPs.
That's why I didn't. I read that and I was like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that comment. I'm not ready for that.
I mean, we wish him the best, but I think it's a bit early.
Oh, yeah.
I
before you
keep
talk
in
about
mind-
someone that's been there for 20 years at the top level, wait.
That's it. And keep in mind, Rafik, very important, he's Italian. They don't make good football players anymore.
No,
in
absolutely
Italy, so-
not. Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Yeah. Right. Okay. So, Hasni, what do you think of Nkunku? Because I think you were hoping he would turn out into something special.
Yeah, I would, because but then again, I'm living in the highlight reels of his time when he was in Leipzig, I think, Red Bull, right? Where he was really scoring those amazing those skill moves and all that. But yeah, ever since the injury and all that, yeah, it just hasn't worked. You know, you spend all this money, and this club does, I guess, give players a chance. Could Nkuku be one of those that next season really shines? You hope so. But then again, to compare it with his direct rival, Jimenez, which one would you rather keep, maybe?
Oh my God, that's a tough one, because I think, which one is worse? Oh, it's hard to know, honestly. I think Jimenez has more of a presence, but he doesn't score goals. That's the only thing I'll say. And we need a striker badly. So if I had to keep only one, I'd keep Jimenez, because we're so short in that position. I think, as Shane said, we're not that short on actually the position that Nkunku covers. That's my reason for it. Yeah.
But you, Shane?
All right. Yeah, Shane.
If I had to keep, you kind of have to keep Jimenez if it's a toss-up of the two, because you do know that as bad as Jimenez has been, that, you know, for the first couple of months after we bought him, he was scoring.
Yeah.
Right, whereas like Nkunku's just done nothing. So I mean, you have to go with Jimenez.
We've only seen him blow up one balloon.
This is it, and that was in the Copa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those did you keep in his socks, by the way? Maybe that's why he's not playing well.
Yeah. His socks are full of balloons. Every time he goes near a ball, they bounce off him. That might be it. That might be a problem. Someone needs to resolve that. Maybe you should keep those balloons somewhere else. All right, let's carry on. Yeah.
You know, one thing that I've observed is that, and I think this is a big departure to ever since Giroud has left. It always went for these players that can hold up the ball, tall. Now we've
Yeah.
gone to Jimenez and all that. I don't know. Maybe this profile just isn't working for the club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've always said Jimenez was a panic buy. It just hasn't worked out. That's what it was to me. Right now, I want to have a little bit of a coach focus on Max Allegri, the very man, Shane, you've been calling for. We are, at very worst, we're going to be second in the league over Christmas. I would say that by itself and is enough to say Max Allegri has done very well in the first few months at Milan. But can I just read to you your post-game comments from Radio Rossonera reported this, okay? So, Rafik, please listen. This is to your point as well. Pulisic, now, why was he taken off? He said, Pulisic put in a good shift. But at that time, I felt that we needed more midfield and defensive solidity, so I took him off and put in Ricci. On Nkunku, Allegri felt that Nkunku played well and had an assist in the game. In the end, he felt that Nkunku actually contributed sufficiently in the game. Gabbia came off injured. Allegri said, hopefully Gabbia will be okay. We don't know how long he will be out. But we have De Winter and Odogu who are ready to step in and play. A good draw overall against Sassuolo. We will take the point. We could have lost this game quite easily. On the squad size, because he was asked on this, it's the squad that we chose. No matter what, this weekend, by the end of it, we will still be top four. That again is quite revealing. Now, I just wanted to give everyone who's listening a little bit of information here that's been reported in the Gazzetta. Allegri is the coach that has used the fewest substitutions of any coach in the top 5 leagues in Europe. That's out of 98 teams. So pre-Sassuolo, Allegri had only used 47 subs. The next club in the whole of Europe that's used that fewer subs is Everton with 50 subs. Then Crystal Palace with 51 and then Lyon with 53. It means that Allegri has played an average of 3.36 subs per match, the lowest of any Allegri team ever in the 5 sub era. Now, that is an indication of our squad size and how little Allegri feels he can rely on squad players. I just wanted to hear your opinions having heard those stats. So maybe we'll start with you, Shane.
Yeah. So look, I was always big on bringing Allegri to the club, for reasons of defensive solidity. I think the fact that we're so close to first, despite not having any functional strikers in December, and we're close to first. I think obviously a lot of that goes to the players as well, but a huge part of that comes down to Allegri and what he's instilled in the team about defensive solidity. What his comments do go into kind of portray though is that he knows that he's basically dealing with an awful lot of very stock players here. I mean, who's this guy that they put on as a forward that no one had ever heard of? Do you remember at the start of the season?
Yeah, I can't remember his name because he played once and disappeared. Yeah.
He was like this 18-year-old. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember him either.
But he was like, wait, if that's who you're calling upon, right? That just kind of goes to show you, what the hell is going on with squad depth, right? The players that he has are very stock. Like let's just go back to what Max was saying earlier, right? If it's correct, and if you're looking to swap out Fofana, who's just very bad, who's a bad player, right? And he's your starter. And then you're looking to swap him with Jashari, who hasn't really done anything yet. What does that kind of tell you? We don't have any strikers. Our starting defense isn't great, let alone who he brings on when the players have to be rested. The Winter doesn't look like a serviceable player to me.
Yeah.
Doesn't, this Atacama guy, the few times that I see him, he doesn't really strike me as someone that can increase the level.
Yeah. And what about this
So-
Odogu guy? I mean, what the hell, man?
I mean, did we see him in one game?
Yeah.
So we've seen him in one game. That'll tell you all you really need to know about if Allegri trusts him or not, and it's
Yeah.
obviously he doesn't.
Yeah.
So Allegri's not been given the pieces that he needs. This is why the winter mercato will be absolutely key. I don't see them doing anything serious though, because this is Redbird. However, if they were being serious about trying to win the Serie A, there would be huge investment in the winter mercato, and there won't be.
Yes. Husney.
It's not the half-season review, but I would say that Allegri has actually exceeded expectations.
Yeah.
So the expectations are be clear that definitely get better than 8th place and try to get Champions League. I don't think there is a fan out there that thinks that our top 4 position is currently in jeopardy at this moment of time and the way that we're going. On those metrics, Allegri has done great. Now, it's nice to want to win the title, but I just don't see the club actually backing Allegri to that extent. If he does win it, it's going to be an absolute fluke that we do win it, and I think we have a good chance of winning it. But that is not how the team is built, and that is not what I think the deal is with Allegri as well.
Yeah.
They probably say that this is great. Your job is secure. Don't worry about it. Just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think he's done exactly what what it says on the tin. A solid coach that was going to come in, stabilize the ship. Exactly what Allegri's famous for. You're not going to get exciting football. You're not going to make expansive football, but you are going to get points on the table. And he hasn't hidden it. He said, if we're not able to monopolize the ball, if we're not able to dominate a team, at the very least, I want that conceded goal tally to be at 0. That's how he begins his thinking. And that is how he has tried to make this Milan team play. Yes, the deficiency in the starting 11 defense means that what we're seeing in the last few games is Tomori and Pavlovic being shown up for what they actually are, which are very average players. Yeah, Tomori, yes, needs someone beside him to really instruct him and teach him, because I don't think he's got the speed, he's got the ability, but he doesn't seem to be able to do the tactical side of things very well.
He doesn't seem to be a leader either. The way some people are just born like this, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's a fact of life.
Yeah.
Some people don't have it within themselves to have the confidence to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, they need someone alongside them to basically kind of guide them and make sure that they're on it, right? I think he's very much one of those type of players, and I think that's why he needs someone like super experienced that can basically.
I think
shout at him.
Shane, I think Kier was extraordinary as a captain. He was extraordinary as a captain. You know, national team captain as well. The things he had to face, just incredible. So,
but John, can you imagine? Can you imagine even forgetting a striker, right?
mhm.
Can you imagine how extra dangerous this team would be with a functioning defense and Allegri in charge of it?
Yeah, I mean, take away the goals we concede, we win everything. Yeah, but it's just, and we said Pavlovic is allowed to get away with a lot of. Listen, this is one point. Thanks, Shane. Actually, you just reminded me of something.
Mhm.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that Milan have played brilliantly to be where they are. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. Right? They have managed and gotten the best possible results out of a lot of very bad situations. We were dominated by several teams and we got away with 3 points because of Allegri ball.
Yep.
It's as simple as that, right? So in terms of the coach, in terms of also the goalkeeper, we have managed to take points away from games that we should not have taken points away from. We are not dominating teams. The reason we are potentially in the league race is because we have a coach that knows how to get points from terrible situations, right? And we have a goalkeeper that can enable that to happen. And we have individuals of absolute prime quality in Modric and Pulisic, right? And Leao when he fancies it, yeah? Now, is that going to be enough going forward to win the Serie A title? I do not know. And I think a lot has to do with what happens with Napoli in the Champions League. And of course, Inter are the number one best squad in the entire league itself. So we'll see what happens there. But I think at the very minimum, Milan finishes third. That's as simple as that. That's how I see it. Okay, so Fahadinho says, why are you guys complaining about the players being brought in or the shortage? The brilliance of Furlani and Moncada in constructing this team, being in the top of the standings, is just, yeah. None of us are complaining about Furlani. You never complain
Can't
about
complain about
Furlani.
that club legend, dude. You can only complain about Cardinale now.
Listen, man. It's like this guy will have a statue. By the time he leaves this club, there will be a statue of him in everyone's homes. In every Milanista's home, we will have a statue of Furlani, and we will pray to it every game. Right. Now, let's finish off with a bit of fun, because I want to do a brief history of time with Shane and Husney. This is your pod that you set up in the first place, and we have to celebrate the 100 episodes, guys. And I want everyone to enjoy this glorious picture. All right? Thank you, Fahadinho, for that. I have just won money. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. Shane, first of all, what do you have to say to yourself 99 episodes ago? Do you have any message from Shane of the past?
You've about 30 kilos to lose. No, it was an interesting time, and I think, guys, and and you as well, John. It's been a really fun time, Hosni. It's been a really fun time, John. You've both been very key and keeping the glue in my personal life, which has not been always easy. You've become two of my best friends, and I value both of you very much.
Wow. My heart is officially touched. My tiny little Italian heart is touched. Grazie tanto, Shane. Grazie tanto. But that's it. I'm going to send you some carpaccio.
All right? I'm all right now. I'm all right. No, but thanks very much, guys. But I just want to finish it by saying, everyone, just don't be afraid. Like, subscribe. We really enjoy talking with you. You can always join us on the WhatsApp. Reach out to us on X or Instagram as well. If you want to join our WhatsApp chat, we'll add you in that way. It's at Milanistas 360 on all platforms, basically. But it's been great, and we've met an awful lot of great people along the way. Special shout out to Max, Gino over at MLM Podcast. Check them out. Nico, down in Mexico, drinking these fucking cocktails on a Sunday sometimes. The bollocks. I hope you're good, Nico. And people like Fahadinho have always been keen to chat. So glued in. Everyone else in the chat, you've been. You've been a lot of help, I think, for all of us. And you're always, well up for the banter, and you really do add a lot of value. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And, let's go to Amazing. 200 more. But Amazing. I also do want to say as well, last thing, John, you put in a lot of work as well getting the content ready, guys. This isn't us that's doing that. John does that. So from the bottom of my heart as well, dude, you have my infinite gratitude, because you know how fucking useless me and Hosni are sometimes with doing this.
Go again.
So special thanks to you as well, John. All right, that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Shane. Hosni, come on. You have the mic, Hosni. Take that central chair right there in that picture.
Yeah, well, not many people know this, but actually Shane was the one who came to me with this idea. So if there's anyone that's the majority of the credit, it's actually Shane. So great visionary, great idea. At the time, I wasn't thinking of really doing anything, and if you had asked me 99 episodes ago, would it even last 2 or 3 episodes of streaming before we gave up? I would have told you that I didn't have that much confidence. But this is why I think that the Milanisti family, Milanisti brotherhood, we're at a different level here. We're not just some random people that bump into each other straight, decide to start a pod. I mean, you can really feel in terms of the bonds, the friendship, the brotherhood. and it stretches beyond this club. And I said it many times before, as particularly towards the end of last season, is that at this point it's not about the club anymore. It's about the fans, the
Yes.
people that we make friendships and all that.
Yeah.
And it's been great. I would never have imagined that we'd have got to 100 episodes. For those who also didn't know, is that we've tried so many things in the past. There was even that attempt to actually dub our podcast into different languages.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a plan. Maybe we'll reignite for the
Yeah.
future, but it's rather interesting.
YouTube
But
does it automatically
at
now,
the
anyway,
heart-
Husby.
Yeah, they do. But at that time, I was thinking like it was really cool that we managed to dub our pods using AI in I think Mandarin was
It
one
was.
of the options that we tried. So I still kept
Yeah.
that clip. But what really struck to me is that how to keep the brotherhood together was that I wanted us to really have the voice, and what I really wanted us to really help out is that soul Milanisti, wherever he may be in the world, that really passionate about the club, didn't know who to talk to, didn't know who to reach out to. We wanted to be that the avenue really where we could connect on that.
Yeah.
And we've met so many different characters, so many different friends, and I'm glad. And I think you guys also took it to another level by the face-to-face meetups. I met Kim in Australia a few times now, so it's been great. It's been more about this club, and it's been more about this club for a while now. I can't say how grateful I am, and I feel there's also the shame is that as soon as John joined, this thing it exploded.
No.
Really.
What,
We took
what
it to the
happened
next
is the
level.
quality went from utter dog shit to good. That's essentially what happened. And we started getting subscribers then because it looked professional and serious, whereas
Oh,
before it was two
jeez.
assholes. One asshole, right? One asshole was on the back of his porch in fucking Kenya, right? Where
Which was
sometimes
amazing.
which was amazing, getting my bananas stolen by the local monkey, which actually happened. And then the rain fucking hitting the roof and shit, and then knocking the internet off. That used to happen all the time.
Amazing, man. Amazing.
So, guys, really look at that picture, because if John hadn't joined, that picture would have remained the same.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys, I'll be right back. 2 minutes.
After episode 100.
Shane's got his food delivery.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, I think I joined you guys just after episode 20. I was kind of going back through the history of the episodes and thought we've covered a lot of topics, guys, together, a lot, and we were never shy of facing even the hardest ones. If you recollect, we spoke about gambling, Husney, like the gambling problems in the club. Remember when Tonali came in and was taken out? We had a massive discussion, obviously, when Maldini was let go. We had a huge, and actually at that time is when a lot of people joined this channel. So a lot of people were looking for, I think, a group that kind of valued that club legend and kind of said, we'll support Milan, but we really need to have an understanding that ultimately Maldini is an important part of this club, is a huge cornerstone of the club.
Not only that, John.
Yeah.
We spoke about topics that I think many others didn't want to address. We covered quite a bit about racism.
Yes.
As well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are topics that I know that for whatever reasons others didn't want to talk about, but we didn't have any speaking about it.
Yeah, no, I think it's been fantastic, and I got to say again, thank you to you guys for having this group together, having to also set up the WhatsApp group. Absolutely brilliant idea. We're able to just fire off. I mean, half the stuff is about food, taking the piss out of food, Shane taking the piss out of pasta sandwiches,
And
you know,
everyone else. all the
and
time.
everyone else. And we smash the Irish and they smash the
That's it.
Italian. It's great. It's hilarious. It's great. That's the kind of healthy conversations you want to have with your mates. It's good. And we've had a few meetups, which is good. I hope we have more. I really hope we have more. I met Max.
Sure, if you
at,
can't be
Milan.
blatantly racist to everyone all the time and your mates, who can you be blatantly racist towards? Do you know what I mean?
Oh dear. Oh dear. This is how you know that we're not a very young generation.
That's it.
slightly older generation.
I only believe in two genders, John.
Oh no, Shane, stop. Oh my god. No, but it's been great. It's been a great journey. Let's hope let's look forward to many, many more. And may the channel keep growing. We hope to get way more subscribers. I've got to say a huge thank you also to Nico as a content creator. There were times when myself, I stepped off for months sometimes. My job is extremely stupid in terms of the pressure that it puts on me. And so I kind of have to, my way of coping is sometimes to shut everything else off. And Nico kept it going and he kept the subscribers coming. So thank you to Nico very much. Yeah, let's keep it going. Who knows what's coming? Maybe someone else will come in and join the roster in the future and really take us
€50
to.
super chats are coming, Jan.
Maybe that is maybe, dude. That is the way. That is the
Maybe,
way.
maybe after this,
Is that
Furlani
what
will
we'll
offer
do?
us a job.
That's it.
Yes,
As long as I
yes.
get that monster sponsorship.
That will be it. That will be it. But one thing is for sure: no one will ever replace Furlani in our hearts.
That's
So
it.
Forza Furlani forever. That's my last message. Ciao a tutti.
God bless everyone. Stay safe.
Forza Milan,
and,
thanks for joining us.
Forza Milan. See y'all.
Il vento canta tra gli ulivi, la luna danza sopra i tetti, sussurri dolci tra le ombre vive. Giorgio mio, dove sei adesso? Qual è lo scenario tra il cielo e il mare chiaro? Un cuore che ti cerca invano, Giorgio, amore I fiori piangono al mattino, il sole abbraccia il tuo cammino.